Now, one of your workers is here today, and we're excited to have Jordan Taulau, full-time campus life director. Jordan, what exactly does a campus life director do?
Basically, I get to meet with students, student leaders at each school once a week, and during those times we kind of map out what exactly we're going to do at the weekly club meeting. And then we have the club meeting, which is, I show up and I usually have the student leaders doing various tasks. Maybe they'll run games, take attendance, and socialize, get to know each other. And then, the focal point is near the end, obviously at the last 10 to 15 minutes where I get to talk life and Bible with them and answering some of their questions that they have.
What are the kinds of questions that teenagers have today and bring to the club meetings?
Just a little while ago, I came from a club, and one of their questions was, what does it mean to fear God? Does it mean to be terrified of Him, or is it something different? And so we got to discuss, I got to discuss with about 30 different kids about how God is like the ocean. As a surfer, I've learned early on never to turn your back on the ocean. It's a source of food and pleasure and a lot of good things, but it also has the power to take your life as well. And with the ocean, I have enjoyment, but also I have reverence and I have respect for it, and the same is with God. And so that's just one of many, many different
Well, it's great to hear
questions.
that you deal with some deep questions, philosophical and religious, that kids are asking. Are there other ways in which you help them on a practical level?
Yeah, whether it's through texting or email or MySpace, Facebook, kids are able to contact me sometimes in dire need. I've had to talk kids through suicide.
Oh, really?
And helping them get off of that, or whether it's drug abuse or cutting and self-mutilation. And then on maybe a little lesser level, being able just to talk with them about relationship problems that they might have, or with maybe their peers or their friends, family. So being able to just interact with them and kind of just being a listening ear for them.
So all of our campus life clubs provide staff and volunteers who reach out to kids and help them in the kinds of issues you just have talked about.
Yep, absolutely.
What kind of impact do you think campus life is making in the schools?
I think we're starting to see a real impact on a very surface level. Almost every student at the schools I go to know about the clubs that we're running, so they're aware. Now they might not all be participating, but they at least have heard of it and kind of see the reputation. For the kids that do participate, they've, whether they're involved in, the student council or in helping to do various community service projects, they've really stepped out, and you can see a difference happening on the campus.
Well, Jordan, I know you're a talented person, you're a musician, you're in a band, you've got a great college education. Well, why is it that you've chosen to spend these years in your life working full-time for Youth for Christ?
It's a good question. It goes kind of far back.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah. Kind of goes far back. In high school, I made a lot of wrong decisions and choices, and actually was a negative example in some younger lives. And I realized that if I could have that kind of an impact or influence on someone's life in a negative, how much more could I do in the positive? And at the deepest core, I really do feel that this is why I'm here, that I have a genuine call on my life to be a part of the youth culture and to help them in the positive way. And so I'm able to be a part of it and see it now flourishing, and excited to see where it's going.
Well, I'm glad you're here working in Youth for Christ. You're really making a difference in the lives of young people. Youth for Christ not only reaches out to kids in our public schools and private schools, but quite recently we've added a division to our program geared to reach a group of young people who pretty much were not visible on the ministry outreach map for many, many years. And so it's our pleasure to be able to have on our team Kevin Schmidt, the director of our military youth ministries. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about the population of military dependents here in the islands?
Right now we've got about 7,000 military kids on Oahu.
Wow, that's a huge amount. That could fill 4 schools completely.
It's a good amount, and it changes, every few years too, because they move in and out, and then we have an impact as they spread out across the world. In fact, if you take the percentage of military teenagers that are here and also military families, and compare that with every other state in the nation, you will find a higher percentage in Hawaii
That's
than
something.
anywhere else.
In fact, yes, I've read that. We have the highest per capita military and retired military population than anywhere in the country.
Right, we have over 116,000 former military here also.
So what are the special needs of military youth? Sometimes we tend to think with the federal government, with the monies that are there for the bases and so forth, that they must have everything imaginable to meet their needs and so forth. But what are some of the needs that you've discovered?
Well, first of all, because that is a presumption that a lot of people have, there is a big gap for filling the needs of their unique experience. A lot of these kids, they move on average every 2 to 3 years. They have a mom or a dad who's on a 4th, 5th, even 6th deployment now. They're thousands of miles away from where they last called home. And they have some relational challenges that need to be met.
And you're there helping to meet those needs.
As much as we can, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We need you, and we're looking forward to the program growing.